Hello and welcome. This is A Course in Miracles 365, Awakening to Love, and I'm your host, Tomás Garza. And thank you so much for joining me here today. This is, as you may have noticed, a daily live stream on Enlightened World Network. And if you're joining me for the first time, welcome. We've been at this since January, bringing right here to this worldwide network the wisdom, the truth, the practical lessons of A Course in Miracles. If you are familiar with A Course in Miracles, you'll know that there are a lot of materials out there and available online. So I thank you for tuning in here on Enlightened World Network. Now, if you're here live, please feel welcome to say hello in the comment thread. One thing that I love to do is check in after a few remarks, about 15 minutes worth. Then I like to check in live with all of you. So if you're on here, say hello. If you're catching me on the replay, again, feel welcome to say hi, check in. I do check the comments from time to time throughout the day. So we've had some excellent discussions and some excellent questions on here. And this is one of the things that I'm very, very passionate about, is creating a community where people feel safe, where they feel welcome to explore. Now, what does exploration mean? Well, it means asking questions. And it is absolutely true in spirituality that questions are valid for a lot of reasons. So even if you think that the question is maybe beginner level, then I think you should really ask it. Yeah. There's no such thing as an inappropriate or a dumb question in spiritual practice, because we really are to question everything, and I encourage you to do that. So this course, as you've noticed, presents some ideas that may seem shocking to you. They may seem radically different than the way we see things in the world. And this is, I assure you, quite by design. Isn't that exciting? It's quite deliberate, and the more shocking it appears, in my mind, the better that is. Because we need that. We do. We need sometimes to be jolted out of our current way of thinking, of our current modes of behavior. Why? Because they're not serving us. And if we were all perfectly awakened right now, we wouldn't need this live stream. We wouldn't even need the internet. We wouldn't need any of this. And because we're here, we need these types of broadcasts. We need spiritual teaching, and we most definitely 100% absolutely need spiritual practice. That's the most important thing. That is what we're up to here with A Course in Miracles, particularly in the segment known as the Workbook for Students, which is what we're covering right now on this live stream. Every day but Monday. Now on Mondays, I have what I call a special focus of the day, and we take a Course in Miracles centric focus on certain aspects of life and experience. And this past Monday, I covered psychic or 5D or metaphysical experiences. I know they're of interest to a lot of you. Some of you have them. In fact, probably a number of you watching here on this channel have those. And that is the live stream from this Monday, a couple of days ago. If you're interested in that, feel welcome to visit Enlightened World Network's YouTube channel, where this show and every other show on the network has its own playlist, and you can find every back episode there. It's updated every day, so you can catch that. Today, we're moving forward in the workbook, and we're drawing to the conclusion today and tomorrow of what the workbook calls a review period. It's very important in any form of learning that we cover an idea and then review it for a lot of reasons. kind of like in school, we check our understanding, we check in with ourselves and see what we've integrated, see what still remains to be integrated, because unlike school, there's no final exam in this course. Yeah, there's no final exam, you're not paying tuition, and it's really up to you to take this material and run with it, so to speak. It's up to you to take this material and integrate it into your heart and mind. That's what we're doing here. So we're reviewing lessons that we've seen previously. Today, we're reviewing two of them. This is lesson 119 in the workbook, and we're reviewing lessons 107 and 108 in the workbook. So let's jump into them. Right, lesson 107, truth will correct all errors in my mind. Yeah. Oh, that's relaxing. I don't know about you, but I find that relaxing, comforting, reassuring. Truth will correct all errors in my mind. Your ego may be extraordinarily resistant to the word errors. It does not like to believe that it's wrong. In the ego's wild delusions, it's never wrong. Therefore, it convinces you you're never wrong. And anyone that says anything that doesn't match your own particular worldview is wrong. The biggest error that we commit in the world is identification with the ego in the first place. In fact, that's really the only error. It's corrected by truth. Truth with a capital T. Now, this is what A Course in Miracles presents. This is what any non-dual form of spirituality presents, whatever that is, whatever that tradition is, like Advaita Vedanta, for example. That is the same thing. It's presenting truth, which of course is beyond words. It's beyond the words we're using. It's beyond the books we're using. It's beyond everything. It's the essence of who we are. Now, it's truth with a capital T. What will this do? It will correct all errors in our minds. How? We allow that. We allow that to happen. And in this practical thought system of A Course in Miracles here in the workbook, these daily lessons, what they call them, ideas, come with a suggestion for practice. It's very, very helpful. Now, truth, the essence of who you really are, will correct all errors in your mind. How? It's like turning on a light in a dark room. It simply cancels the darkness, doesn't it? That's an analogy that I like to use. It's highly effective. If you walk into a dark room, you might be afraid that you're going to stumble over a chair or something that is strewn across the floor. You might run into the wall. You might run into a painting and knock it off the wall. Why? Because you can't see. But you know where the light switch is. Flick the light switch. What happens to the darkness? It's gone. And it appears as though it were never there. Same in spiritual practice. So the Course uses the terminology Son of God, meaning all of us, without exception. And we rest safely, as today's lesson tells us, in the mind of God. In other words, we're the extension of God. Makes sense, doesn't it? Love is only capable of extending itself. And by the way, when I say love, I mean love with a capital L. I do not mean a transitory love like a weekend fling or a short-term romantic relationship. I don't mean falling in love with a show on Netflix and binge watching it, which of course is fun and not without some value of its own, right? But what I'm talking about here is love. Love extends itself, only itself. God extends himself, or if you want to say herself or itself, those are just words. God's not a human being, happily, right? So God extends himself, only, only. Should give you some indication as to what you really are. Now, what this requires is our gradual awakening to this reality. And by the way, everything that I have to say on this live stream today, you will hear again, and not necessarily from me. Now, if you watch this show routinely, well, then you will hear it from me. Again, you'll hear it from special guests that I have from time to time. You're sure to hear these ideas again. Love extends only itself. God extends only himself. You are the Son of God. You are God's creation, extension. Lesson 108. This is something that requires a little discussion, and we've discussed it here on the live stream. I want to share a quick synopsis of this today, and then we'll take comments and questions. Lesson 108 that we're reviewing today is to give and to receive are one in truth. Okay, to give and to receive are one in truth. Same. It goes on to talk about the practice of forgiveness, which, as you've noticed, is central to the philosophy. It's central to the thought system of A Course in Miracles. Forgiveness. In the world, we have a warped view of giving. Don't know what I mean by this is many people, and perhaps people you know, perhaps you, give with strings attached. Is that the case? Have you had this experience? Someone giving something, but expecting, demanding even something in return. Or giving with a condition. Our parents are great with that. My own mother used to give us things, but with the caveat that we were to use it in certain ways only, or the world would crash down upon us and she would visit us with her extraordinary wrath. Yeah, that may sound familiar to some of you. Right? A family context is one way where we can really see this. What's really going on here is that we're each other's mirrors. Now, this is something that you may have heard in spirituality. This is something that is an image that's presented in many worldwide spiritual traditions, many, really. We're serving as mirrors for each other. So when we extend love, people see themselves, right? You're looking at me on a live stream, on a live global broadcast. I'm a mirror for you. What you're looking at is not me. You're looking at you, yourself. We see ourselves. When someone shows up extending love, we see ourselves extending love. When someone shows up dominated by fear, anger, rage, guilt, paranoia, frustration, that's what we see in ourselves. When we forgive, we're extending love. So the Course posits forgiveness in a way that is very different than conventionally in the world. We're either extending love or we're issuing a call for love. In other words, every, no exceptions, every form of people's inappropriate behavior, fear-based behavior, is a call for love. So what is then the appropriate response? Since we're each other's mirrors, it's to extend love. By extending love, forgiveness, we learn who we really are. we see ourselves reflected in our own forgiveness. And that is how we learn that we are completely 100% sinless, the Son of God, the extension of God, same as God, yes. Not the body, not this frail thing that can't stand the prick of a pin and doesn't last forever. Who we really are. We really are. That's what the Son of God is. It's love. It's life itself, which, of course, extends beyond all of the limitations that we've imposed, including the physical body. Now, we'll see this again and again as we go through the workbook. So again, this will not be the first time you hear this from me, that you're not a body. And it's not the first time that you'll hear it from other people. This is something that the ego, of course, is very resistant to. So what do? While we're here, we can use our physical bodies to extend love. Not just romantic love. I'm not talking about sex necessarily, right? I'm not talking about a weekend fling. I'm not talking about buying your partner a new car or a meal or an expensive ring or anything like that. We can use this communication device to extend love. According to the Course in Miracles, we can use it to forgive. To give and to receive are one in truth. They're absolutely one. And one means one. It doesn't mean 1 1/4. Yeah, it doesn't mean 1 1/2. There are no divisions or subdivisions. What I like to say is there's no separation of any kind. So forgiveness is a theme that runs throughout A Course in Miracles. We will come back to it on this live stream multiple times because there are 365 lessons here in the workbook. Today we're on lesson 119. That means there are over 200 more. Forgiveness does come up in many of those. It features prominently, and it features prominently in our daily practice. So today, what we have the opportunity to do with this lesson is to practice this. All right, so a couple of ideas that run really quite contrary to the way the ego runs things. In other words, to the way things are conventionally run and operate in the world. Truth will correct all errors in my mind. All right? Truth will correct all errors in my mind. And to give and to receive are one in truth. This one's particularly resonant, isn't it? To give and to receive are one in truth. Wonderful. All right. So let me check in. We've got a couple of people on here today. Kimberly, hi, how are you? Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for joining me. I do want to invite all of you that if you have specific questions, particular questions or comments, please feel welcome to leave them here in the comment thread. If I don't catch them right here while I'm live, and it'll only be for another minute or two here, then I will catch the comments later in the day. So thank you for joining me here. Tomorrow, we're going to wrap up the review period with a couple of very, very powerful ideas here in the workbook. And then on Saturday of this week, we'll be moving forward with a whole new set of ideas that we'll be seeing for the first time. Now, if you're doing all of this for the first time, it'll be brand new to you. Yet, I suspect there'll be some resonance there. You'll remember certain things, and it will come across to you in various ways. It might be a feeling. It might be a sense of déjà vu. Perhaps it might be a sense that, oh yeah, this rings true somehow. I don't know where I've heard that or felt that before. But this is presenting truth with a capital T. So if you allow yourself to show up and remain open to it as much as you can, then you'll begin to experience it. And that is a game changer, everyone. Okay. All righty. Well, Kimberly's making breakfast. All right. Making breakfast and listening. Thank you for tuning in here today. And thank you to all of you for tuning in on my personal Facebook page and here on Enlightened World Network. Just a reminder, if you'd like to catch some back episodes of this live stream, they're all available. Every single one of them is available as a playlist on Enlightened World Network's YouTube channel. And you can subscribe to that channel as well. It has all of the programming across the network. Some really wonderful shows, some really wonderful people are here sharing their experience with you. And this is all about shared experience, why there is no separation of any kind. And that's just truth. All right. Thank you for tuning in here today. We'll see you again tomorrow. Everyone have a great